What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, as well as another video. Hey, so today's going to be episode 2 in our FXRT clone build that we got going on here. It's also going to be mechanical day. We're going to go through and double check everything with this engine before we start tearing into the bike. We're going to basically change the fluid in all 3 holes. We have a new oil filter. We also have 2 new spark plugs to go along with it as well. Picked everything up at the Harley shop. I know a lot of people would choose to use something different, maybe Lucas or Redline or Amsoil. This just all happened to be all in one spot, so we picked it up and we got it. We're hoping that we can stop that oil leak that has been plaguing the garage floor for the last couple of weeks here, but we'll figure it out once we get into it. First things first, we're gonna have to back this thing out. I got to get it running, get it up to operating temperature. That's a very important piece. You want to make sure that everything's at operating temperature when you go to drain stuff out. Just lets all the oil drain out that much more efficiently and makes everything a lot easier. So without further ado, I'm gonna get that done and I'm gonna get back to you guys as soon as it's ready to go. Okay, so just got back from a nice little rip around the neighborhood here. We got it all warmed up. It's been around about 15 minutes or so, give or take. Should be enough to make sure that all the fluid drains out evenly and nicely. Taking a look at what's coming out of this thing, I can see that the oil looks like it's originating, the leak is originating from somewhere up underneath here, which leads me to believe that it's just coming directly from that oil filter. It's making its way down along the bottom of the frame here and dripping off, as you can see, onto the floor. So hopefully we can rectify that situation pretty easily. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start draining some fluids here and we'll get this show on the road. All right, so the first one we're going to be after is going to be this one right here from the left side of the bike. That's the drain plug for the oil. That's going to require a 5/8 wrench. So I'm going to go ahead and start draining the oil out of the bike. We'll get it going. So here's first glance at the plug. Looking at it, not overly bad. I'm not seeing a ton of stuff at the end. We got a little bit of grit stuck to the magnet. Nothing major though. If there were like chunks or something, then we'd be a little bit worried. I mean, you're gonna find some stuff on there that's just natural, but for the most part, this thing looks pretty clean. So that's a positive. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just let that finish draining, and we'll put this plug back in. Do have new O-rings for it, so we'll slap those on too, and move on to the next thing. Next up is going to be this oil filter. Harley does make a oil filter adapter piece you can go on there so you can remove the filter very easily. I actually don't have one. When in doubt, I just grab a pair of channel locks and get a hold of it because the oil filter is junk anyways and you're not really concerned about it. But if it's put on correctly, you really shouldn't have to muscle this thing off anyway. I know they do tend to tighten up over riding and everything, but for the most part, if you're, you shouldn't be herking the thing on there. It should just be, tighten it up till it stops and then a quarter turn and you're good. So we're going to go ahead and give this thing a grab and see if we can pull it off by hand. Well, fingers crossed, that might have been the problem right there. I know I said sometimes you have to like really grab a hold of these things to get them off or whatever, or use a pair of channel locks, but that thing walked right off. So I think it might have been on a little too loose, and maybe that might have been the cause of the issue. Because looking in here, everything looks good. It wasn't like the thing was double gasketed or someone screwed up when they were doing the oil change last. And I don't see anything else that could possibly be causing that. Like I said, most of this oil was originating right off the bottom right here, right off the bottom right there. So my guess is that it just might have been on there a little loose. So the mating flange looks good. Everything looks clean. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of clean that up a touch, throw the new filter on, and see what we got. Alright, so the bike's been running for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I think we might have, fingers crossed, I think we might have dodged a bullet here. I'm pretty sure that leak was nothing more than a loose filter. I'm not seeing anything, and everything was originating from this bottom piece right here and running down the frame. I cleaned everything up good, ran the bike, and no leaks. So next thing is going to be to let this thing drip down a little bit, check the fluid level, double check to make sure that we are right on the money where we need to be, and move on to the next thing. So I'm going to check that fluid. All right, looks like we are good to go. All right, and on to the next thing. Next thing's gonna be the primary. So let's do that. In order to drain the primary, we're gonna be after this plug right here. That's also gonna be a 5/8 wrench, so let's go ahead and get that drained. Alright, while that thing's draining, let's take a look at the drain plug. For one, obviously, need to replace this O-ring. That's toast. Number two, taking a look at it, it doesn't really have all that much clutch material on it, so I think we're in pretty good shape there. A little bit here and there, again, is normal, but if you have excessive amounts stuck to this magnet, you're going to have a problem on your hands. It seems to be pretty good, especially for a bike with, 18,000 miles on it. It's about normal. And the clutch does feel good on the bike. It doesn't, there's no issues there, so we should be good. All right, we'll go ahead and get that derby cover off and see what we got going on. All right, everything looks pretty good in there. Now would probably be the optimum time to do a clutch adjustment. However, not quite sure what we're going to end up having to do for cables. I'm really not sure if these cables that we have on the bike are actually going to work with the bars that we have, so we might be purchasing something down the road. And again, if we have to do that, I'm going to want to do a clutch adjustment anyway. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So for right now, today, the clutch is decent on this bike as it is. For right now, for today, we're just going to deal with the maintenance part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing leveled so we can start filling it up. Okay, with the primary button back up, we can move on to the transmission. The plug for the transmission drain is going to be underneath here, right about there. That's going to require a 5/8. However, a wrench will not be able to be used in there because of the fact that it's recessed. So we're going to have to go with a socket and ratchet there. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll get the fluid drained. Okay, well, we got the plug out. Let's take a look. Again, just like the other ones, not overly bad. There's a little bit of stuff on there, but that's kind of normal for what we're dealing with here, especially with the mileage on the bike. We'll go ahead and we'll get that cleaned up. If this was any worse, we'd be a little worried, but it's not too bad. So we'll get it all cleaned up here. We'll throw a new O-ring on there, a little bit of sealant, and we'll be good to go. And with the trans done, we are now going to move on to the spark plugs. So let me get set up here. We'll get these out, take a look at them, and change them out with the new ones. Okay, we got the old spark plugs out. Taking a look at them, they're actually in pretty good shape. Looks like they were replaced within the last few years or so. But because we have brand new ones, we're going to go ahead and throw these in. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so we got the oil change, new filter, we got the transmission done, we got the primary done, and 2 new plugs. So it looks like this thing's going to be a go to start tearing down here in the next episode. And that's going to bring this week's video to a close. Make sure to join me next week when we start the disassembly process on this bike. And hey, if you haven't already, do me a favor, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, as well as hit the bell for notifications so you know when more videos like this are going to be coming out. And as always, keep the shiny side up, and I'll see you guys all on the next video.